Mr. Speaker, over the last 3 months, the Royal Bermuda Regiment has engaged in several activities related to local and overseas training, defense engagement, as well as recruiting. As such, I wish to provide this Honorable House with an update. Mr. Speaker, the leadership of the Bermuda Regiment is currently concluding its strategic review that was initiated in 2017. Subject to the approval by His Excellency the Governor, this review will form the basis of the 5-year plan associated with the timeline. This plan will be aimed at better aligning the regiment structure and training to operational output and capability. Mr. Speaker, the regiment will invest in its soldiers by increasing training opportunities for individual soldiers and aligning training with real-world standards to ensure portability of qualifications. Further, over the coming years, the regiment will increase interoperability with partner agencies on the island and armed forces in the region through initiatives such as the Royal Bermuda Regiment Coast Guard. Mr. Speaker, honorable members recall that a decision was made to cancel this year's overseas training camp as a result of the ongoing strategic review and to have a greater emphasis that was being placed on the full-time maritime role and a better aligning of training with an operational output. This saw elements of the regiment train on the island for a week in May. The second week of training involving joint services test exercise that will take place in October. Mr. Speaker, the training this recent May included the joint training with the Bermuda Police Service, the PSU. This involved Alpha Company's Operational Support Unit training with the Bermuda Police Service in order to maximize interoperability, particularly with crowd control tactics. Special Constable training. Soldiers who recently joined the Alpha Company, the boat troop, as well as the Regimental Police Unit underwent special constable training comprising of law and a procedure model, as well as officer training modules. The training complements of the mission-specific training, which was completed in the lead-up to the America's Cup. The result is that special constable capability that has been called upon when needed. The EMR course. 4 members of the medial section completed a 100-hour emergency medical responder course at the St. John's Ambulance Brigade. GED program. This program has also seen 10 soldiers participate in the General Education Diploma program, which the Bermuda Regiment has offered internally. The first phase of the program has been completed, and the majority of the soldiers are on track to earn their high school diploma equivalency this year. Mr. Speaker, through the annual overseas camp, though the annual overseas camp was cancelled, certain members of the Bermuda Regiment participated in smaller overseas training exercises, including the Junior Non-Commissioners Officers Cadre. 30 soldiers traveled to Camp Lejeune in North Carolina to participate in a task exercise phase of the Junior Non-Commissioned Officers Cadre. The Command and Leadership course, which equips soldiers with skills to lead section of 8 men and 8 women, the first promotion in their regimental careers. The Senior Musicians course. The Royal Bermuda Regiment Bandmaster Designate Color Sergeant Sheldon Fox recently completed the Senior Musicians course at the U.S. Naval School of Music in Virginia, the first time a Bermuda Regiment soldier has attended the U.S. Naval School of Musicianship in Virginia. The ACSC. 2 majors attended the first phase of the Advanced Command and Staff course at the Defense Academy in the United Kingdom. This course prepares suitable officers to lead the Bermuda Regiment. It should be noted that outside of wages, the Royal Bermuda Regiment is able to participate in the courses in the United Kingdom at no cost. The Royal Naval Small Boat Course. 2 private soldiers, a male and a female, from boat troop attended the small boat course in the Cayman Islands. This course covered coxswain and small boat engineering and training. This course was entirely UK funded. Mr. Speaker, 5 lines of defense engagement have been conducted during this quarter. First, the Barbados Coast Guard study. In March, 2 officers from the Barbados Coast Guard completed a 4-week course study to develop the concept of the Royal Bermuda Regiment's Coast Guard. This concluded with a presentation to the stakeholders and forms the basis of the Royal Bermuda Regiment's plan for undertaking a maritime role. The Royal Bermuda Regiment attended the Caribbean Region's Information and Operational Council's meeting in Jamaica. The Royal Bermuda Regiment's participation in the meeting was funded by the U.S. Northcom. This is the 5th year in which the regiment has participated. Over the past 2 years, Northcom has donated vehicles to the Royal Bermuda Regiment, sponsored a combat cameraman's team visit in 2017 to generate promotional content, and this February sponsored a combat camera and operations security training locally on island. In May, the Foreign and Commonwealth Office sponsored the Royal Bermuda Regiment's participation in a disaster management conference in Miami, where the Bermuda Regiment made a presentation on the deployment of Roman in the aftermath of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. The Royal Bermuda Regiment further participated in the UK Ministry of Defence sponsored meeting in the Cayman Islands to discuss the regiment's future in the deployment in support of disaster relief operations in the region. The Royal Bermuda Regiment's executive officer was asked to deliver a presentation regarding the Royal Bermuda Regiment's support to Operation Roman. Bermuda's contribution was well received and appreciated. In order to scope out operations for overseas training in 2019, the Royal Bermuda Regiment visited the Belize Defence Force, the Belize Coast Guard, and the British Army Training Unit in Belize. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, the regiment will conduct a second recruit camp training within this calendar year. A 6-week PR campaign was established to encourage civilians to make the transition into military life. More than 25 people have begun the enlistment process, and it is estimated that the full 25 will start the camp. Mr. Speaker, with 42 recruits starting in January, it is estimated to bring the recruit intake for this year up to 67 recruits, which is in line with the volunteer intake of 2016 and 2017. The regiment's current strength currently stands at 343, which is sufficient to conduct mission and to accomplish tasks. Mr. Speaker, the regiment has seen a decline in band members. In order to counter this decline of musicians, the Royal Bermuda Regiment, and to ensure that the sustainability of the band, the Royal Bermuda Regiment has instituted a junior musicians program. This program currently has 20 participants, which allows high school age musicians to perform with the band and to be paid for it. We are grateful to the Royal Bermuda Regiment's support during the MS Emlyn World Triathlon Series in April. In order to ensure the safety of both the public and the athletes, 49 soldiers were fielded to include marshals, rescue swimmers, boats, liaison officers, and at the event control center. The event organizers covered direct costs associated with the Bermuda Regiment's participation. Mr. Speaker, the Royal Bermuda Regiment has a significant role in safety in Bermuda, and the Ministry of National Security remains committed to supporting the Bermuda Regiment through its transition to an all-volunteer force. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.